We are here, Truck Mania 2024. This year it is at the Cal Expo. New spot, never been there. Nobody knows we brought this. Should be pretty cool reactions. We'll probably try to set up the camera and the mic and do all that, see what people's reactions are. We also got the C20, he's over there. He's gonna get checked into the hotel, go help Travis out with some traffic control. Well, another thing that sucks, we wanted to dyno this on the big boy dyno. I'm not gonna do burnouts. Every time I do a burnout, I blow something up, so no burnouts for me. Jet saw me leaving this morning and he said, I wanna go hunting.
Bro, when we showed up, the air dogs were running and the keys off. And then when I went to go look at it, they shut off. And then we pulled the truck around and there's a cab mount on the trailer.
It's doing good. This is Taylor Speed Lab. We're here at Truck Mania 2024. We didn't do a good job getting all the sand out from the sandblaster, but it just adds character.
Oh my God.
So Fordall built a 12 valve, check it out.
For once.
Hey, how it should be, as the Lord intended.
Now we're supposed to stay better.
Check out that. What, 100 amps, 1.8 pulses per second. He won't tell me, I keep trying to ask him. He won't tell me, he says I just do it and it's perfect, whatever. This thing is sleeping.
Ultimate sleeper here.
How about a sleeper piece of shit?
I think he makes a couple pounds of wood.
Anthony Graham, this is the Hobie S. Motor-wise, fuel and air is 369 with 238 100s, built by D&D Performance. Wheel and tire setup, Alcoa Super Singles, shaved down to 22s. Motorsport Tech adapters out of Reno. FOA shocks, 2.5s. Front axle and rear axle both have True Tracks with 488s in them. Everything you see under the truck comes with the truck. I didn't even ask, they just showed up at the house. They just came with it. This is factory paint, 42-gallon tank, custom built by yours truly. 5-inch exhaust all the way back. Had to trim the tank to get the exhaust to fit. Drive Light Industries 5-inch drive shaft. Interior, rear seats are sponsored by TJ Fag. Those are his front seats in the back. So it's basically 4 buckets with the flip up center console, black carpet, suede headliner, KC lights as dome lights. This is roughly a 3.5-year build. It's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears in this thing, but it was worth it. This is Anthony Graham. Thanks for watching the Speed Lab.
Now that we've returned back from Truck Mania, which was a great event, well organized. Travis, you did a great job. Thank you for including us in the dinner party afterwards and hanging out with all of us. That was an awesome experience. Thank you for that. Thank you for putting the C20 in your booth and getting us on the t-shirt. That's a really good feeling to be featured on something like that. Look forward to many years of that to come. Now that we're back, I want to go through this thing and work out some kinks that we had. I did notice that when we got to the hotel, I'm walking around the back side of the truck and the air dogs were on with the key off. So I probably did something silly there or didn't ground the fuse box right or whatever. So I'm just gonna go through that, poke and prod some wires until I find something that's a better option. Yeah, all in all, truck did great. No complaints there. But now that we're back, we're gonna start the process of doing the roll cage. We're gonna go hang out with our good buddy Dave. He cleared out a bay in his shop for us to do the roll cage with him. He has plenty of experience in the off-road industry with doing exo cages, interior cages, suspension and stuff like that. So he offered to clear a bay in his shop, go through the truck with us and kind of help us lay everything out and make sure that we're doing it with the correct intentions and doing it safely and making sure that we do the job pretty thoroughly. So shout out Dave, you did not have to do that, but we are more than happy to have you on board. The truck was a hit this weekend. It was pretty funny because, you know, I stand back in the crowd a little bit and try and watch people and see what their reactions are. And it's pretty funny. You see people just walk right past it, and then there's one guy that walks past it and double takes and looks over. He's like, oh my God, look at that. And all of his friends come over. It's a cool feeling. Lots of pictures were taken of the truck, lots of videos. People really liked it. Makes those 14, 16-hour days worth it. I don't really know if we're making too long of videos, too short of videos, anything like that. If you guys have input, it is greatly appreciated. No harm, no foul there, even if it's negative. I don't care. I'll read it, make sure that we make some adjustments, and try to provide you guys with the best content that we can. But hey, Anthony, I know you commented on the last video. Thank you this time for leaving this here because Taylor and I used liquid nails to reinstall the back window for the truck show. So we are going to be removing it again with your tool. You break it, you buy it. I know the rules. But yeah, she came out pretty good. 3 weeks total, not bad. I wish that we had some more time. Maybe we could have gotten the roll cage done, but I was like, screw it, let's take it. So, which wasn't a bad idea at all. A lot of people were freaking out over it, so that's all that I care about. So Taylor calls me. He's like, hey, if you want, pull that back window. I said, okay, I might break it. And he was like, oh, that's all good. I don't really care. I'm not going to use it. So we're glass guys today, I guess. Let's do it. I might be able to do it. Maybe I should start this with a razor blade. Maybe I should go over here in this corner first. Let's see. Oh, this is a terrible idea. Hang on. I might have a new skill set. Ha! Look at that. I'm good. Sweet. We're in business. Speed Lab Auto Glass. That's us. So I got the tachometer installed. As you can see here, it's a 5,000 RPM diesel tach. It is mounted to the alternator, and that's where it gets its signal from. This is from Autometer. I did test this before mounting it. I just used the power probe and everything and held it on the passenger side of the truck, turned the key, and we got some movement and revved it up a little bit. It moved. But there is an adjustment hole on the back of this that you would use a 5/32 Allen on just to be able to get it fine-tuned in. But I don't know exactly what RPM this truck is emitting at idle. They tell you to not do it at idle. They tell you to adjust it at freeway speeds. So we'll see how this goes. Looking good so far. It is a little jittery. Maybe that's my fault. Maybe I need to do some fine tuning with the mount with the way that I ended up mounting it. But yeah, so far we know it's kind of around 500 RPM. Well, I never thought the day would come. The Honda won't start. Battery's dead. And I'm hungry, so I think you can put 2 and 2 together here. So yeah, I'm gonna go get some food in this terrifying automobile. British people can never understand Americans. So, you know, that's something to think about. See, whoever says you can't daily a 1,200 horsepower truck, they're wrong. Shout out Qdoba for keeping my big boy self-fed. Thank you.
We brought, I guess we're calling it Sancho because the original Sancho, people remember. We'll plug in a little video. This is Sancho 2.0, but we brought her to my buddy Dave's fab shop because we've never done roll cage stuff. So this is one of few crawlers and stuff that they have, and he knows a lot more about it. And he's gonna help us and kind of guide us. We can use some of his tools, which is nice because we don't have all the big notchers and whatnot to do the cage at our little shops. So this will be cool, learn a bunch, and then we'll know what tools to buy and what to do. And we're definitely lucky to have a guy like him hooking us up. let them use the shop, no questions asked. But we're gonna start tearing into the roll cage on this bad boy. See what kind of trouble Durkee can get into. He likes math.
I've got astigmatism.
Little update, we got the outrigger bars, and the reason why we cut these holes so big is so we can weld everything, and then we saved all the pieces, so we'll just patch them back in. But if you had a show car, maybe not ideal, but you would have carpet, so I don't really think it matters that you cut big holes in the floor as long as you keep everything, right, Bryce?
Sheet metal, self-tappers.
So according to the rule book, from what we've found on Google, because we actually don't have the real rule book. It was this bar, my head has to be within 6 inches this way, and then 3 inches this way. And then the rear bars that come out need to be ideally a 45-degree angle. So we picked this height here, so one, it's not too far up to where they're coming out of the cab, hopefully. But also we kind of mocked up a seat in there to see where I would probably sit, and about this far forward to where it's even with, I guess when you open this, pretty much even, bam, with the cab right where it opens up. Seems to look pretty close.
So we have our holes cut for the A-pillar bars. So now what we're working on is we're attempting to get a layout of our roof bar mount. So it's like a halo bar. It comes straight out, wraps around, and then comes back to the same spot on the other side of the cage. So this is where the A-pillar bars will come up and meet, and that kind of gives you your upper structure. So I originally thought when we first put this in that the halo bar would mount to the most vertical point on the bar. But after measuring it all out, we come to find out that it'll be halfway down the angle itself. So in order to do that, they sent us a halo bar for an extended cab, and you have to cut it down to what your measurement is. I'm going to be notching it at 45 degrees and doing something I've never done before, and hopefully doing it right the first time, because I am well known for not doing it right the first time. Okay, so if you see here, this is my angle gauge. I don't know what it says. I can't read it.
50 right now.
Okay, so obviously you bring it up. This will be 0, so that would be perfectly 90 degrees straight down vertically. So we don't want that. It's going to be on the round part of the tube, not the flat part. So we're going to drop this down to 45 and clamp it down. So after a long day yesterday of cutting things the wrong way, and it was a little bit too short, so came here this morning. Dave and I knocked out this piece, got it all bent, ready to roll. We ended up having to cut the cab a little bit just to get it up as high as we want, because the kit gets you where you could put this all in and it would look pretty decent, but unfortunately we want to get it a little bit more tucked up. So it's going to give us a chance to get the A-pillar tucked up and away behind the A-pillar itself. So yeah, this will be a lot cleaner. It's coming out pretty good though. Lots of math, lots of trial and error. I think we'll get it figured out. Okay, so Dave and I got the passenger side A-pillar bar in. It's kind of a nightmare, but now we're gonna work on getting the driver side A-pillar in, which is just, I mean, instead of sitting there and trying to make it the exact same dimension, we kind of figured that doing it by hand and just how we feel it looks best. Like if you can see here, he's gonna measure out where the radius starts just so we kind of make that part look the same. That's more important to us than having the same length and blah, blah, blah. But if you look from the back of the truck, obviously, of course, that little light is gonna give you an off reading on what you're looking at here, but our bars look pretty similar. Obviously, it's not gonna be perfect. It's just we're trying to make sure that when you're sitting in the truck, you're not like, oh, wow, that's like 3 inches lower on that side. But we ended up kicking this rear bar back a little bit. As you can tell, we are allotted 6 degrees for kickback on that, according to NHRA specs and safety specs, but cram this tape measure up in there to kick this end down. It's just trial and error. That's all this is.
We got our rear bars out to a 45-degree angle, meeting right to the frame nicely. Apparently they want this to be 45 degrees. Don't build your cage off what we're telling you, because it could be wrong if you want to get it serted. But from what we've read with our kit, we're pretty close. So we got main hoop, those are tacked, front's tacked. So now the next step, which is kind of tricky, is you have to plan this because you could kind of screw yourself pretty easy by welding too much. So everything has to be completely finish welded all the way around, and obviously we don't have great access and we don't want to cut the roof off. So we're welding as much as we can here on the inside just to make it strong to where it doesn't move. Now we're going to come down here and take these outrigger bars that are just tacked on, blow them off, drop the whole cage down, finish weld the tops of everything we can, come back up, and then re-weld the outrigger bars in place. So you got to plan ahead with this stuff, which is tough. I mean, there's just a lot of thinking, and we don't think, we just cut it. Alrighty, so that sucked. Cut off all the outriggers, dropped them down to where now we can weld the tops and have nice finish welds, and also finish weld where our cage goes to the outrigger on the tops. And then we'll bring it back up, line her up, burn in those outriggers, and then we can start on some of our crossbars. So once this is done, she's married.
Don't put it into the wall.
Don't put it in the wall. If we do, we'll just not do this anymore.
I'll just pull the motor and put it in something else.
Yep.
And then build the cage in that.
Yep.
I think next.
Maybe no cab.
No cab.
Just a cage. Be a lot easier. But I mean, it's tough.
Never done it before.
Yeah.
So when I made my measurement yesterday and I cut this roof halo down, it really bit me in the stinky butt. But, you know, after 3.5 hours of getting this and building it and making it work and cramming it in the ceiling, we learned a lot.
It looks safe.
Hopefully it's right. That's the thing too, is
we'll see when we go to cert it.
Nope, can't cut a hole in your roof, bud. You're out. It's a stupid rule like that.
Yeah,
Just something dumb.
It's so vague. It's just like getting welding advice. You ask 10 people, you get 10 different answers. So this cage has kind of been the same boat as we've gotten so many different things that you look up, and Google sucks and people suck. So should be good. We're just going off the instructions it came with.
Which are for a fox body.
For a fox body.
I don't know. Who knows?
So we made some decent progress today. So we got the cage back up in the truck. It's all fully welded to the frame. The only thing we had to add to the truck after the cage was fully welded and installed was our dash bar. We determined our height. We cut this. This is all custom. And we're doing a bar down here. This is gonna hold our seat. We're gonna build bridges across. It's just math. It's kind of struggling trying to figure this all out, but we're doing pretty good. There's been a massive mistake made. This is the wrong diameter tubing, so I'm going to be cutting this out and wanting to smash my face into a wall for the next hour. So yeah, we'll get back to that when I'm crying in my sleep. So I got it all out in one piece, so that means we can copy it. Copy the bends, copy the radius with the proper material diameter tubing. I'm gonna have to sit here with a flap disc in the morning and love up all these notches and get everything ready to go. This just goes to show you, you get stuck on those forms and you get stuck on one little thing and you overlook something else. We should have known. I mean, it was right in front of our face, but then again, it's our first time. And this is what this YouTube channel is about. We don't hide this stuff. So we made a mistake. We're gonna make it right and make it legit, and we're gonna take the time to go over it and do it right. Because over here at the Speed Lab, we do it right because we do it twice. So I'm gonna close up the shop and get out of here. I am exhausted. This just whooped my behind pretty bad. So gonna rebend it tomorrow, install it, keep going on this. We're ready to put the seats in this thing. So we got a lot of things to accomplish in a short amount of time with this, and unfortunately this is a major setback, but that's part of life. Can't control everything. So next time you guys do a roll cage, go ahead and give us a call. We will tell you exactly what to do. So unfortunately, this is how we become professionals at everything, is just completely destroy it, do it wrong, and just hate everything about it, and then all of a sudden you have a beautiful end result. So yeah, I'm going home.
Not bad. Probably 3 hours and 45 minutes. What'd you think, Dave?
I like it.
A lot better. So this is 1 3/4, 1/8" wall tubing. This is a lot better. It took a lot of work to make sure that we didn't annihilate these notches that we had that were pre-existing in the A-pillars, because again, they are fully welded to the outrigger. So now that we got this in, we can keep going again. But we got to work on getting it fully welded. So I came up with this idea. Dave seemed to like the access. Kept the front cab mount bolts in. Took out the A-pillar and the B-pillar ones. We're going to crank the rear of the cab up and tilt it forward. And we had enough room, so we're going to get ready to do that and let Dave do his thing. But yeah, never be scared to cut stuff up and do it again. I mean, but try to do it right the first time.
So we got Dave throwing this down because, yeah, I ain't doing that. And I'll weld stuff, but when it's safety, I want the pro to do it. And here's the ultimate question. Can you pull MIG, or do you only push?
Well, it depends on what your style is. You do
Really?
both. Yeah.
You could do both? You're cool with both?
Absolutely.
You do both?
Yeah, depending on what hand I'm using.
Yeah. Well, you know, a lot of people say you can't pull MIG.
Yeah, I can understand why, because
Yeah.
it's not being pulled like an inner shield or a dual shield or something like that.
So this cage is wrapped up. I mean, now it's just a little cosmetic thing. Saved all these plates, so we'll try to shoehorn those back in and retack them up, make them look better. But we got our Kirkies in there, all mounted up, perfect height. Shifters mounted, other seats mounted, rear bars are done. So now our checklist is Lexan rear window or plexi. Some people don't know this, but I get called all the time at the tint shop. You actually can't or not supposed to tint plexiglass or Lexan because it off gases. So you can tint it, it'll look all good, but you stick that thing out in the sun and the plastic will release gas and cause the tint to get all bubbled up. But I have a product that I'm going to tint it with first, and then I can put whatever shade window tint after that product cures. It's called Blister Free from Matico. It's pretty cool stuff. But that way we can have a limo tinted back window. I think you can buy like smoked out plexiglass, but I don't think it's going to be dark enough for what we like. And we don't got a rear view mirror. We're not going to be looking out of it because we'll be harnessed in, so it won't be a big deal if we tint it super dark. But yeah, these guys killed it. We put a lot of hours on this cage, but could do the next one twice as fast. I know that. Any last words?
Call us if you need any specs.
Call us if you need some specs, because we don't know if it techs. So next thing is we got to wait for the inspector to come to Summit Racing here in town. I guess he comes every, I don't know, 3 to 6 months. And you can roll up, and it's a lot cheaper than if you made him do a house call. So we're going to wait for him, get it teched, but this is definitely, we think everything's within specs, so she's good for some sand dunes.
So now that we've got the roll cage all done, we brought it back to the shop to install some traction bars and make this thing a burnout machine. But yeah, I want to take a moment, shout out to Mr. Dave for letting us come over to his shop and ruin it for a week. Ran into some problems. It was pretty simple to repair. Dave and I took our time, went through everything, and did the best that we could, and hopefully it does pass tech, so we will see. But other than that, I mean, not too bad for our first time, I guess.